We talk a lot about well-being on this show, right? Exercise, sleep, stress.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, there's one area we haven't really gotten into, and it's super important: vaginal health.
Yeah, it kind of gets, like, pushed aside sometimes, you know?
It does, and
Yeah,
it really shouldn't because it's so tied to overall comfort and well-being.
totally. I mean, it affects everything, daily comfort, reproductive health. It's a big deal.
It is. So to do a real deep dive on this, you sent over this amazing Healthline article.
Oh, yeah, the 8 foods for vaginal health. It's really interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
What really grabbed me was how it connects diet to things like pH balance, infections,
Mm,
even libido,
right. And it's medically reviewed, so it's got that solid scientific backing.
which is key. So our mission today is to unpack this article, really get those practical takeaways for our listeners.
Exactly. We want to figure out, like, which foods could actually make a difference, and why.
Yeah, the why is important. And we'll do it all without getting too bogged down in the technical stuff.
Right. We want this to be accessible, for everyone listening.
Totally. So let's jump in. The article starts off talking about vaginal pH.
Right.
Now, some people might not even know what that is. So what is vaginal pH, and why is it so important?
Okay, so vaginal pH is just a way of saying how acidic or alkaline the environment inside the vagina is.
Okay.
And a healthy vagina is usually a bit acidic. The pH is between 3.8 and 4.2.
Okay, so lower pH means more acidic, right?
That's it. And that acidity is actually good. It's like a natural defense system.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it helps keep those unhealthy bacteria and yeast from growing too much.
So it's like a good bacteria barrier.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly created by the good bacteria that live in the vagina, and they kind of like create this acidic environment that the bad guys don't like.
Wow, that's so cool how our bodies just do that naturally.
Right. But the thing is, you can actually mess with this balance even without realizing.
know.
Like douching is a big one,
Yeah.
and using like fragrant soaps down there. Basically, anything with a pH higher than 4.5 can throw things off.
Wow.
Oh, and tight clothes. Anything that traps moisture, that's not good either.
Okay, so basically we got to be mindful of what we're putting on and around our vaginas.
Yes. But the good news is the vagina's pretty good at cleaning itself. Like, it's got its own system going on.
Phew, that's a relief. But the article also says that what we eat can play a part, right?
Yes. That's where it gets really interesting. There are certain foods that can actually help support a healthy vaginal environment.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? What kind of foods?
Well, the article mentions a bunch, but let's start with one that a lot of people already associate with urinary tract health: cranberries.
Cranberries. So like cranberry juice.
Yes. Pure cranberry juice and also like concentrated cranberry extract.
Okay, so what's the connection there? How do cranberries help?
So cranberries have these compounds called proanthocyanidins. Big word, I know. But basically, these compounds can stop bacteria from sticking to the walls of the urinary tract.
So it's like they're making the urinary tract slippery for the bacteria.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine those E. coli bacteria, they cause a lot of UTIs.
Oh yeah, those are no fun.
Right. So these compounds make it harder for them to like latch on and cause an infection.
Interesting. So cranberries are like a preemptive strike against UTIs.
Kinda, yeah. The article specifically mentions that for people who get UTIs a lot, regularly having cranberries might really help prevent them.
That's great to know. But I remember the article also had like a warning about cranberry juice, right?
Yes. This is important. A lot of cranberry juice out there is loaded with sugar.
Yeah, those sugary drinks.
Right. And that sugar can actually do the opposite of what we want. It can make the environment down there more likely to like encourage bacterial growth.
So it backfires.
Totally. So you want to go for unsweetened cranberry juice.
Okay, unsweetened it is, but isn't that like super tart?
It can be, yeah. But you can try adding it to smoothies. Or, there are cranberry extract pills.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like a little concentrated dose.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on from cranberries, the article mentions sweet potatoes, which I have to say I was not expecting.
Yeah, that one surprised me too.
So how do sweet potatoes connect to vaginal health? Especially the article talks about BV and PCOS.
Okay, so this is where it gets really cool, I think. Sweet potatoes are packed with beta-carotene.
Oh yeah, beta-carotene. Good for your eyes.
Exactly. But it's also good for, like, way more than that.
Right.
Our bodies convert beta-carotene into vitamin A.
Okay.
And vitamin A is crucial for healthy mucous membranes, like all over the body,
Okay.
including the vagina. The lining of the vagina is a mucous membrane too.
Oh, right. It all makes sense now.
Yeah. And the article points out that if you're deficient in certain vitamins, like vitamin A, but also C, D, E, calcium, folate, even beta carotene itself,
Wow, that's a lot of vitamins.
right, it can actually increase your risk of bacterial vaginosis, BV.
So these vitamins, they're like the building blocks for a healthy vaginal environment.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And what about PCOS? How do sweet potatoes help with that?
So sweet potatoes are also full of fiber, which is really good for regulating blood sugar.
Okay.
And for people with PCOS, that's super helpful because with PCOS, sometimes insulin levels are out of whack, and that can affect hormones, which can then impact vaginal health.
Wow, it's all connected, huh?
It really is. So by keeping blood sugar stable, sweet potatoes might help manage some of those PCOS symptoms, including ones related to vaginal health.
That's amazing. I got to eat more sweet potatoes.
Me too. The article even suggests making sweet potato toast.
Oh, I love sweet potato toast.
See, delicious and good for you.
Okay, next up, the article talks about probiotics, which, we hear a lot about those for gut health.
Right. Probiotics are definitely having a moment.
They are. So what's the link between probiotics and vaginal health?
Okay, so just like our gut has all those bacteria living in it, the vagina has its own little microbiome too.
Like its own little ecosystem.
Exactly. And just like in the gut, you want a good balance of bacteria down there.
Makes sense.
And that's where probiotics come in. Probiotic foods, especially the ones with like specific strains of lactobacillus bacteria.
Okay, lactobacillus.
Yeah, they can actually help the good bacteria in the vagina flourish.
So it's like giving those good bacteria a boost.
Exactly. And when the good bacteria are thriving, they can help prevent the overgrowth of the bad bacteria.
Okay, so it's about creating that healthy balance.
Exactly. And, BV that we talked about earlier, that's often caused by an imbalance of bacteria.
Oh, right.
So probiotics can actually help with that. Like, research shows that they can lessen the symptoms of BV.
Oh, that's good to know. What kind of symptoms are we talking about?
Like changes in discharge, an odor, stuff like that. And probiotics might even help prevent BV from coming back.
Wow, so they're like a double whammy.
Yeah, kinda. And the lactobacillus bacteria, they're particularly good because they produce lactic acid,
Lactic acid, okay.
which helps keep the vagina acidic. Remember, we talked about how important that is.
Oh, yeah, the acidic environment keeps the bad bacteria at bay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the article recommends eating yogurt or kefir.
Oh, yogurt. I love yogurt.
Me too. But make sure it's got live and active cultures. Okay, that's where the probiotics are.
Right. Got to get that live action.
Exactly. And you can also take probiotic supplements if you want.
Okay, so lots of options there.
Yeah, there are.
Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that's, maybe a little more personal.
Okay.
Libido and period pain. The article mentions omega-3 fatty acids for this.
Oh, yeah. Omega-3s are great for so many things.
They are. So how do they relate to, like, sexual health and period cramps?
Okay, so omega-3s are really good for blood circulation. Like, they help improve blood flow all over the body.
Okay, so why is that important for, libido?
Well, think about it. Arousal's all about blood flow, right?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So if your circulation is good, it can actually help boost your libido.
Okay, so good blood flow equals good times.
Haha, pretty much. And there was this study, I think it was in 2022, that found that omega-3 supplements actually helped pregnant women with their sexual function.
Oh, interesting. Pregnant women specifically.
Yeah. And the researchers think it might be because omega-3s help reduce anxiety, which can really affect your sex drive, especially during pregnancy.
Wow, so it's a mental and physical thing.
Totally. And it gets better. Omega-3s can also help with painful periods.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
great news for anyone who suffers from cramps.
Right. Especially when you take them with vitamin E. Like, those two together seem to be a really good combo for period pain.
Okay, so note to self, stock up on omega-3s and vitamin E.
Yes. And you can get omega-3s from oily fish like salmon, flaxseed, eggs, walnuts.
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
Right.
Now, the article also talks about certain fruits being really good for reproductive health.
Yes.
So what makes these fruits so special? What's going on there?
It's all about the antioxidants. Those certain fruits, they're just packed with them.
Okay, antioxidants. Those are the good guys.
Exactly. They protect our cells from damage, and they can also help improve blood flow.
Which, again, we know is good for libido.
Totally. And for fertility, too.
Oh, wow. So these fruits are like little fertility boosters.
Well, it's not quite that simple, but they definitely can contribute to a healthy reproductive system.
Okay.
And there's even some research suggesting that eating more citrus fruits might be linked to a lower risk of uterine fibroids.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, but more research is always needed, of course. But the article lists some really tasty fruits that are high in antioxidants.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm ready to make a fruit salad.
All right, so we've got pomegranates, blueberries, raspberries,
Okay,
strawberries,
I love all those.
apples,
Yeah.
goji berries.
Oh, yeah, goji berries. Those are supposed to be really good for you.
They are, and the article suggests throwing them in smoothies.
Oh, that's perfect. I make a smoothie every morning.
Me too.
Okay, now let's talk about something that can be, a little bit sensitive, but also really common, especially as we age.
Okay, what's that?
Vaginal dryness. The article brings up soy as a potential helper here.
Oh, yeah, soy is interesting.
It is. So what's the deal with soy and vaginal dryness?
All right, so soy has these compounds called phytoestrogens.
Phytoestrogens.
Yeah, they're basically plant estrogens. And they can kind of mimic the effects of estrogen in the body,
Okay.
but they're much weaker than the estrogen our bodies make.
Okay, so why is that important for vaginal dryness?
Well, one of the main reasons people experience vaginal dryness is because of low estrogen levels.
Oh, right, like during menopause, right?
Exactly, or because of certain medications. And so soy, with its phytoestrogens, can potentially help with that.
Okay, so it's like a natural way to boost estrogen.
Well, it's more like supplementing it in a way.
Okay.
And the article specifically mentions minimally processed soy, like edamame, tofu, tempeh.
Oh, I love edamame.
Me too.
And miso.
Yes, those are all good. And they're also hydrophilic, which means they attract water.
So they're hydrating from the inside out.
Exactly. And they contain isoflavones, which are a type of phytoestrogen that's especially good for the skin.
Okay, so it's like a double whammy for hydration.
Yeah, kinda. And the article mentions that some studies have shown that soy supplements, the ones with a lot of isoflavones, might actually help with postmenopausal vaginal dryness.
Oh, wow, that's promising.
Yeah, it is. But it's important to remember that the amount of isoflavones in soy foods and soy supplements can be really different.
Oh, right, so you can't just assume they're all the same.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to another one of my favorites. Avocados.
Oh, avocados are the best.
They are. And the article says they might be good for low libido and vaginal dryness, too.
Yeah, they're like a magic fruit. Seriously.
They are. So what's the magic behind avocados?
Well, for one thing, they're full of healthy fats, the monounsaturated kind.
Okay, good fats.
Exactly. And they also have vitamin B6 and potassium, and all of these nutrients can potentially help with both libido and natural lubrication.
Interesting. So it's like a triple threat for vaginal health.
Something like that. And there's even some early research that suggests a link between the monounsaturated fats in avocados and better success rates with IVF.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but this is one area where we definitely need more research. But still, pretty cool, right?
That is super cool.
And, there's so many ways to eat avocados. Not just guacamole, though I love guacamole.
Guac is life.
Haha, for real. But
No.
like salads, toast, smoothies.
Oh, yeah. Avocado toast is a classic for a reason.
Right. And you can even cook with avocado oil.
Okay, avocado oil. Noted.
Awesome.
Now, the article also mentions another food group that's, like, universally praised for its health benefits. Dark leafy greens.
Oh, yeah. Leafy greens are powerhouses.
They are.
Yeah.
So how do they factor into vaginal health?
Okay, so leafy greens like kale, spinach, collard greens.
All the good stuff.
Right. They're packed with antioxidants, just like those fruits we talked about.
Okay, so good for blood flow, good for cell protection.
Exactly. But they've got another trick up their sleeve. They contain nitrates.
Nitrates. Aren't those like in processed meats?
Yeah, they can be. But they're also found naturally in leafy greens. And our bodies convert those nitrates into nitric oxide.
Okay, nitric oxide. What does that do?
It's a vasodilator, which means it helps relax and widen blood vessels.
Oh, okay, so it's like opening up the highways for blood flow.
Yeah, perfect analogy. And that includes blood flow to the vagina.
So it's good for dryness and libido again.
Exactly. Plus, leafy greens are full of other nutrients that are good for muscle health, like vitamin E, magnesium, calcium.
Okay, gotta get those muscles strong.
Right. Including the pelvic floor muscles.
Oh, right. The pelvic floor is important for so many things.
It really is.
Okay, last but not least, the article talks about how food can affect body odor.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one.
It is. And, it can be a little awkward to talk about, but it's real.
It is, and it's totally natural for everyone to have their own scent,
Right. We're all unique.
Exactly. But some foods can definitely make things more noticeable, let's say.
Okay, so what kind of foods are we talking about here?
Well, the general advice is to, Watch out for heavily processed foods, sugary drinks, and things with trans fats.
Okay, so the usual suspects when it comes to not so healthy eating.
Pretty much. But it's not always that straightforward. Like some foods can change the acidity of your urine, and that can affect how things smell.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the food itself, but also how it's processed by our bodies.
Exactly. And everyone's body is different, right? So what might cause a strong odor for one person might not do anything for someone
Oh,
else.
right, because of genetics and stuff.
Totally. But the article does list some foods that are commonly linked to changes in body odor.
Okay, let's hear it. What are the culprits?
Okay, so garlic, asparagus.
Oh, yeah, asparagus is notorious for that.
It is. And onions, Brussels sprouts,
Huh.
fish.
Okay, those are all kind of sulfurous.
Yeah,
Right.
they can be. And then coffee, red meat.
Okay, so pretty wide range of stuff.
Right. Spicy foods too.
Yeah.
And even some vitamins and supplements can affect odor, like choline is one.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how much our diet can impact our bodies.
It really is. So if you're worried about, like, being self-conscious about odor, maybe avoid those foods before certain activities, right?
Yeah, that's what the article suggests, like if you have a big date or
Oh,
something.
yeah, that makes sense.
But also, remember that a balanced diet and staying hydrated is super important for a fresh scent.
Oh, yeah, good old water. Can't forget that.
For real.
Yeah.
And most importantly, remember that everyone has a natural scent. It fluctuates, it changes.
Yeah, it's normal.
Exactly. And as long as you're comfortable with it, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Love that message of self-acceptance.
Me too.
Okay, so the article wraps up by giving an example of a meal that incorporates a lot of these beneficial foods we've talked about.
Oh, yeah, the lentil stew.
Yes, vegetarian lentil stew. It's got sweet potatoes, leafy greens.
And you can add Greek yogurt for the probiotics.
Oh, yeah, good idea. And avocado for the healthy fats and all that.
Right, so it's like a one-pot wonder for vaginal health.
It is. And it really highlights how easy it can be to incorporate these foods into your diet.
Totally. It's not about like overhauling your entire life, just making some mindful choices.
Right. It's all about balance. And the article also reminds us that diet isn't the only thing that affects vaginal health.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hygiene is super important.
Absolutely. And, sexual activity can play a role too.
Right. It's all connected. And one more thing the article mentions. Changes in odor don't always mean something's wrong.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, sometimes it's just normal fluctuation. But of course, if you notice any sudden changes, especially if they're accompanied by other symptoms like itching or burning or weird discharge,
Okay, red flags.
yeah, then definitely go see your doctor, just to rule out anything serious.
Always better to be safe than sorry.
Totally agree.
So to wrap things up, it seems like what we eat can really make a difference for our vaginal health.
It can, in so many ways. From balancing pH to potentially reducing infections.
Even impacting libido and lubrication.
Exactly. But, diet is just one part of the puzzle. It works hand in hand with good hygiene and regular checkups.
Absolutely. It's about a holistic approach to well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. It really makes you think about how interconnected our bodies are.
It does.
Like what other seemingly random things in our lives might be affecting our health in ways we don't even realize.
Right. That's a great question.
It is. So, listeners, I want you to ponder that. What else in your daily life might be secretly influencing your well-being? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you for having me. It was a great conversation.